Miss Gabrielle Gay is a prolific education futurist, thought leader, speaker, and the founder of the Erlene Bradshaw Foundation. The Erlene Bradshaw Foundation is the number one education foundation of its kind in Barbados and is home to the Caribbean's first, largest, and most globally awarded education programs of their kind, reaching over 10 million leaders, students, and professionals worldwide in law, literacy, and technology. Ms. Gay holds many prestigious leadership positions in education, regionally, and globally. She is a LinkedIn top voice for leadership, with prestigiously honors the top 5% of expert impact leaders on the global platform. She currently serves as the Sustainable Development Champion for Education and the Sustainable Development Goals in the Prime Minister's Office of the Government of Barbados and is the United Nations AIS Ambassador for Barbados. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome none other than Miss Gabrielle Gay. Welcome, 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 welcome. How
Thank
are
you.
you?
I am excited. I'm humbled and very, very honored to be here, Kanisha. I so thankful to be here. You are absolutely phenomenal, and thank you for having me. So yeah, those are two words: excited and humbled to be here.
Awesome. And we are excited and happy to have you here with us here tonight. We're very, very excited to have you here because guess what? You get to be one of those women from the Cover Girls for the upcoming magazine who is also here tonight. Our last episode for the I Am Woman show. That's amazing for me. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear our discussion here tonight and how much will be shared. So thank you for those who are already tuning in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please feel free to share this link with a friend and invite them to join us. And so, Gabrielle, so we are talking about resilience, right? And so,
Mhm.
my first question to you is what is your definition of resilience?
It's so interesting, Kanisha. First of all, fantastic questions, right? I love that we're speaking about resilience and the different contexts in which we can find this gem in our lives. Very interestingly enough, my definition of resilience is actually rest. Now, I know someone will probably be watching this and they're like, rest? Resilience, how does that intertwine? Because usually when we hear resilience, we're thinking fight the good fight, you gotta surge through challenges, which is true. However, my belief is that we can only be resilient if we are resting and pouring into ourselves properly. As women overall, throughout the years, just ages of history, women, whether it be women's suffrage, women of color, through slavery and other events, there's always been a fight, right? Always a fight at some point in time. And I believe that resilience is rest. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to rest because rest is connected to resilience. Because we can't be resilient if we're burnt out. And in our society, we glorify, this hustle culture, constantly on the go. But how can you fight challenges if you're burnt out? How can you fight challenges if you haven't poured into yourself? So, to be a truly resilient woman, I need all my ladies that are watching, men as well too, that are watching this broadcast to remember the definition is resting and pouring into yourself physically, spiritually, energetically first so you can fight those challenges.
Listen, I would have never guessed that definition. I could have never guessed that definition at all. But I think that's a very interesting, interesting turn on the definition of resilience because, like you said, rest is necessary, and especially as women, we're so accustomed to going, 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 going. We don't stop to think that we need to rest. Like it's somewhere in the back of our minds. Like we do know that rest is important, but because we have so many things to do and we're so many things to so many people, sometimes it can be challenging. So I like that you start there because that it drops another question for me. So having talked about resilience being rest, what would you say to that woman who is struggling to rest because she feels like she's juggling womanhood, that she's juggling, being a wife, then she's juggling, being a mother, she's juggling, a career, and then she has a side business on the side. She's still doing church, so she's just trying to juggle ministry too as well. What would be your words of advice to that woman who's doing those things?
When you were saying that, just listening to your question, the first thing that pops into our minds is that, first of all, for those of us who are religious, who believe, and even if you don't, at the end of the day, we believe that we are children of God, right? We believe that the Lord has paid the ultimate price for us. So in believing that, what did Christ do for us? He laid his life down, right? He rested. Creation, God rested. And when he gave up the ghost on the cross, he rested. And as women, we are the bride of Christ, right? We're seen as a church. The church is described as female as well. We are seen as just this beautiful prize. That rest produced the ultimate prize for us so we can have salvation, right? So from a spiritual perspective, we can already see that this has already been bought and paid for us. So the first thing I would let a woman know is that you are entitled to rest. You'd be surprised, Kamisha, at how many women just never thought about that. They almost feel as if it's this otherworldly concept. I can't have that. I'm too busy. I'm doing this and that. No. The first thing you must remember is that even on a spiritual level, this was bought and paid for you. You deserve rest, right? And even from creation, how we were created, and let's take it out of a spiritual perspective as well. Even from a biological perspective, any good doctor, right? Any great specialist, any wonderful fitness trainer would tell you, even if you're in the gym 24/7, you need to do what? Rest. So even from a biological perspective, we have to make sure and remember that we're entitled to this and it's vital for our very survival. So that's the first thing. Then secondly, I would say actually being very proactive about it. I find sometimes in life, we can have the perspective where we want things, but we actually don't put measures in place to get them. So you have to get a little ruthless about your rest. So what does that look like in an everyday context? Make a timetable. Now, I know somebody's probably thinking back to class 4, thinking back to primary school, thinking back to these days where, I got to make a timetable. But no, really, organization equals rest. So let's break it down. If you have a timetable for your life, I call it a life timetable. It doesn't have to necessarily super strict and regimented, but how about implementing a time to go to bed? A time for social media. There's lots of apps as well that you can check out on the Play Store that can help you with this. You can go manual, right? Write the vision and make it plain, right? Go manual with pen and paper. Write it down. Firstly, I would look at my schedule as is. So I'm talking to women right now that want to change this. Look at your schedule as is right now. What's taking up your time every day, right? Just lay it all out. Good, bad, ugly, and in between. Then, when you look at your schedule, begin to ask yourself, what can I minimize or what can I maximize that will give me more rest? I'm big on technology, as everybody knows. So are there apps? Are there virtual assistants? Are there things that can help me streamline my tasks in ministry and business and motherhood and organization that can give me more time? And then simply, am I giving myself a bedtime? Are we doom scrolling, right? We're all guilty, right? We're all guilty of scrolling a little bit too much on the social media apps. Gonna cut that down, right? How much time am I spending watching Netflix? What are the things that are taking up my time that I can take some minutes from there and put into going to the gym? Put it into a 10-minute walk in nature, just walking around your neighborhood or going to the beach, right? A 10-minute or 15-minute, 30-minute session in the library to catch up on that work or that book that you really wanted to read, right? So that's the practical way of encouraging more rest into your life. And then finally, I would say that rest is also a result of all the people that you keep in your space. There's a really popular saying that we are the sum of the 5 people around us, right? So there's probably somebody in your life that you can think about right now that's stressing you out, that doesn't need to be there. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about? Let that man go. But no, seriously, it could be a romantic relationship. It could be your job. It could be, a friend that's not, it could be a toxic friendship relationship, because rest comes mentally and emotionally too. So look at, evaluate and take stock of your circle as well. Are these people contributing to my rest? Are they contributing to my mental and emotional stability? Right? Because once you fix these three things, then you become more resilient because you're more positive, you have more clarity, you're taking time for yourself, and you're practically putting steps in place to make your life better. So then it results in a 360 positive mindset and positive, arena and space that you're living in. And then you become more productive in all areas of your life.
I love that. I love that. So we're doing groundwork. So we're going behind the scenes, do the foundational work so that you're able to propel in the area that you're called to. Because like you said, if we're not spending that time, then like we can't really give of our full self. We're giving partially because we're tired, we're weary, we're worn out. And it's so funny because many times, especially in this season, you hear a lot of people saying they're tired, or they just feel weary. They know that they need to rest. It's because they feel stretched. They feel being stretched in all different areas. So I love that you shared that. And so then, I have to ask this question then, since that you brought it up and it's your definition, can you tell us about a time or when did you recognize, what? This is what resilience really is, and not what society was seeing it as or what you probably would have heard. When did you recognize this is what I need to put in place so that I can execute the things that I'm called to? When did you realize that?
I love having these spaces for just transparent conversation, because I would love to be able to, come on this show and say that this hit me so early in life and everything was perfect and I did this perfectly all the way. Absolutely not. I had to learn this the hard way. But I believe that the Lord lets that happen so that you can then pour into others, learn and teach others as you go. So with my journey into education, I'll attack it from the professional side and then personal side. So with regards to education, my first education program, the Gabrielle Award for Excellence in Reading and Literacy Mentorship Program, I started that at 13 years old, right? So I've been doing this for a very long time. So kicks off with all the gusto, right, of a new teenager, 13 years old. I started this education program. At the time, I went to the gatekeepers of education and I said, look, I've got this great reading program. We're kind of, as we say, proverbially beating the kids over the heads with the books. Everybody doesn't learn the same way. I believe, let's make the books come alive, right? Let's give them interactive story times. Let's make literacy fun. And of course, Kamishi, you know what they said to me? They said no. They said, absolutely not. That's not how we do things, right? We're accustomed to the old way. So my resilience mindset was born because I was literally sitting on my bed at home in my bedroom with my mother. And I said to my mom, hi, Mom. I said to her, I said, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. So I started my allowance, Kamisha. That's resilience. I started my allowance in 5 schools, just 5 schools, right? And by having the temerity, the resilience, the support from my mother, just positive people around me, that is how this whole movement started. In 5 schools, a little girl who was brave enough, and as people used to say, delusional enough to believe that she could change the education system for the better. So that's how I got started. But the thing about it is, like, your strength can also be your weakness as well, right? So by going through, I've always had that path, very innovative, seeing things before they happened. That's why my title is Education Futurist, because that's what a futurist does do. We look into the future, quite literally, and we solve problems before they happen or create innovative solutions for the ones that already exist. So when I started that and started the program, we're powering through, meeting obstacles and crushing it, I actually didn't realize over time that I was burning myself out, right? I wasn't very good at asking for help. I just figured, okay, if I don't get help here, I'll figure it out and I get it done, which eventually led to a period of burnout. So I've experienced this in my real life on my professional journey. I've experienced burnout on many occasions, and sitting down and resting and realizing I'm human. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to rest and recharge because I'm a better self and a better person, a better leader for the 10 million plus professionals and leaders and students in our network that depend on me and depend on these education solutions and depend on the frameworks and programs that we're putting out to help them and help other women and help youth become better through education. So that's how I've been able to apply it and see it in my own journey. And then personally, as I said, as a child of God and also just as a friend and as a family member, a sister, a cousin, I've recognized that I'm a better person when I'm well rested. I'm better able to offer wisdom and guidance and just friendship and camaraderie and fellowship and sisterhood to the people around me when I'm rested and I'm rejuvenated. So that's how I've seen resilience as rest in my lifestyle, both professional and personal, and how it's really helped and changed me for the better.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I am not on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
But, but
Hear
you're
you.
not seeing me because I'm. You can hear me, but you're not seeing me for some reason.
Yeah, we can hear you though. Like,
I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to bear with me. I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm not quite sure what is happening, but I'll take this opportunity to introduce you to our next cover girl. And so we have another cover girl. Her name is Mary Russell-Hankins. She could not be with us here tonight physically, but she still wanted to share some gems with you. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce you to her, and so you can hear all about her take on what resilience means.
The resilient woman in purpose. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share my story. I am so honored to be on the front cover with some amazing women on the I Am Bold and Fearless magazine. Listen, when you wait patiently on God, God always reminds you that He is in charge. What is resilience? What is a resilient woman? A resilient woman is a woman who refuses to let life challenges define her. She stands firm in her faith. She rises after every setback and she speaks life over herself, even in the darkest moments. Resilient is not about avoiding struggles, it's about overcoming them with purpose, strength, and grace. So, let me tell you a personal story. For me, resilience was birthed through trials, health scares, personal losses, and moments where fear tried to keep me silent. But instead of letting those moments break me, I use them as fuel. When the doctor spoke one thing, guess what? I chose to speak life. Even when my body was weak, I was strengthened with my spirit. And through it all, I discovered my true calling, and that is to empower others to do the same. So let's talk about my career and purpose. My journey in coaching, ministry, and content creation was never about business. It always been about purpose. Every challenge refined me, making me more passionate about helping others, helping them find their voices, and standing in faith and manifesting the life that they are called to live. So, why do some women struggle with purpose? Why? Because many women are not pursuing their purpose because they're waiting for the right time. They're afraid of failure or believing the lies that they are not enough. But let me tell you something. Your past does not disqualify you. Your struggles does not define you. And your calling will not wait forever. It is time to step into what God has assigned you to do. So I challenge you. If you've been sitting on your vision, this is your sign. It's your time to speak life. It's time for you to step out on faith and manifest the purpose within you. Why? Because you're a resilient woman. So today, tonight, walk in it. And remember, life and death is in the power of the tongue. So what are you speaking? So be encouraged, be blessed, and know that the best is yet to come.
All right, so we are back. We are back. We are back. Once again, I'm having, if you're now joining us for the first time, we are having some technical difficulties on my end that you're unable to see my video. I'm not sure what is happening, but we're going to continue to press on until we finish what we came here to do. And so we are talking about resilience tonight. And if you're now joining, you've just heard from Mary Russell-Hankins. And I have here with me the beautiful Gabrielle Gay. She's also a cover girl. Both of them are cover girls for our fourth edition magazine, which is called I Am Bold and Fearless Woman magazine. And this magazine has been doing phenomenal. We've been able to reach over 20 million viewers, and that's across 120 countries. You can actually have the magazine in text to speech. That means that if you're doing something and maybe you don't want to read it, you might be a bit lazy, you literally can just have the magazine read itself for you. Or if you're someone you want to learn about the magazine or see what's in the magazine, but you may have, you may visually impaired, you can actually just click it and play it too as well. The magazine is also translated in over 25 different languages as well. And so with that, you're able to read it if you're in Russia, if you're speaking French, speaking Spanish, Chinese, you can speak it Portuguese, you name it, English, of course, you're able to read that magazine. And that's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. And I'm super excited because we're launching this March. This is Women's International Day this Saturday. Right here, we're launching online, and you're going to get to see and learn and read all about those phenomenal women who are going to be a part of this magazine, sharing their stories. And so I am excited. So we're talking resilience, right? And so we're going to continue. So I have to ask the question. Just before we heard from Mary, where she shared about her definition of resilience. Gabby, you and I, we were segueing into having to juggle most things, and especially as a woman, and what that really means. You talked a little bit about your career, how things started, and you said something that is very important. You said you had to have some support, and you were able to have support from your mom. How important is it, especially as a woman of resilience, especially when you're building something, to have the right people or be in the right environment?
It's absolutely important. In fact, it's the nucleus of your success. Having the right individuals around you, I would argue, is just as important as the idea, just as important as the business, just as important as the ministry for what you are trying to achieve. Because, as we know, life and death is in the power of the tongue. The people that you have around you can either pour into you to grow you exponentially, or they have the power to wither, right? And destroy what your purpose that God has put you on this earth to do. And resilience is something I always say it's like a muscle, right? It's a muscle. It grows because no two challenges are exactly alike. You'll have similar issues or similar problems, or you may come across, just similar challenges throughout your journey, but no two challenges will be alike. And you have to ensure that you have people around you that will stand in the gap for you, people that will cheer you on, pray you on, and say, Kamisha, keep going. Gabrielle, keep going. For me, that's my mom, that's my parents, my friends. I'm very selective. I tell people, you have to be very careful who you call friend. Be very careful with that, because that person, you're giving that person the authority, you're giving them that title to pour into you, to be close to you, to influence you. So your support system is very key. And I know that there may be someone listening who probably does not have, for example, the most supportive family. They may not have the most supportive coworkers. But what is important is finding that network. So first off, you got Queen's mindset. So if you're watching this broadcast, you're already halfway there. You're already set, because Kamisha, this incredible empire that she's built to pour into women, you're already in the right place. So you already have a community of like-minded phenomenal women from across the entire globe and the Caribbean who are backing you genuinely. So I would say, first of all, log in, okay? Tap in, join this community. And then look for those communities in your space, in your day-to-day life. So just pay attention to, your discernment, the people who speak to your spirit, and draw them close. And I would also say, if on your job, if you find a coworker or a person in authority who pours into you, they're positive, they have a genuine spirit, ask them a question. Ask them, visit their office, see who they are, talk with them, and see if they're willing to pour into you as well. And I would take it a step further now, is you also have to be bold to find that community. So what do I mean? If with our education programs, we have had some of the most incredible professionals and leaders from around the entire world. I'm talking Attorney Brian Mondo, Dr. Ruman Chowdhury. These are people that have been listed as Time 100 most influential in their spaces. And they've come and donated their time to teach in our programs. But how did that happen? Because I decided to find my community. How? Many of these people, I reached out to them genuinely on LinkedIn and different professional platforms and said, look, this is what I'm doing. I see that you're doing something similar. We have synergies. Let's connect. Let's connect and work together to raise Barbados and the Caribbean and the world up through education, technology, and the law. And the same thing for you. We spend a lot of time online. Make it work for you. Look out, pay attention, observe individuals in your professional spaces like LinkedIn and different professional platforms, and send them a genuine message and say, look, this is what I'm doing. I would love to have you be a part of it. Let's have a virtual coffee. Let's have a sit down to see how we can make this work. And by doing that is how you begin to build that intricate network, right, of support at individuals who are like-minded, who are positive, and who will pour into what you are doing and keep you resilient on your journey.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Listen, if whenever you are doing something, right, you're always testing in who you proclaim to be. So if you say you're a carpenter, I'm gonna expect you to know how to use your tools. Now we're right here talking about resilience, and here we are. The internet started acting funny, and for already the word is ghetto.
Don't start. Don't recommend.
Yes, but we're resilient because we came here to get a job done and we're going to get it done regardless. And so that's a prime example of not giving up and not giving up too soon, and just keep pressing and keep pushing. But I love what you're sharing, Gabrielle. I love what you said there in terms of, support and being in the right environments and, taking advantage of the people around you, especially when you're connected to good people and you can spot what they have. You're able to connect with those like-minded persons so that you can build. There's always power in collaboration, but I find sometimes, especially with women, sometimes we kind of shy away from that because I guess it's very emotionally driven and different things. If your mindset is not in the right space, you can really miss a really great collaboration that can really set you up for life. And so I don't know who's watching right now. That might just be a point for you to remember, don't knock it. Don't knock it. So you just have to be very selective, very careful in who you decide to collaborate with. You want to get like-minded people, like Gabrielle said earlier, and you want to make sure that that person is able to partner with your vision, so you guys are going the same place. And so, if you're joining us once again, we're talking resilience. This is the I Am Woman Show. We are here with the beautiful Gabrielle Gay, and we are talking and all about resilience. But before we go any further, she is also one of our cover girls for our upcoming magazine that is coming out this Saturday. That's March 8th. Right here in Barbados, we're launching it. We have 6 cover girls, and Gabrielle is one of them. Now, Gabrielle, tell us, what is your expectation for the upcoming magazine? What do you expect people to gain from it when they get an opportunity to actually read it?
I would say expect to be inspired, expect to be encouraged, expect to be fulfilled. I think a lot of times we have a very sanitized version of resilience. It's people like to focus on the end result. So, Prime Minister's office, sustainable development champion, 10 million people, yeah, which is incredible. Don't get me wrong. And we're not minimizing our accomplishments. But what I'm saying is, it's a very sanitized view. Even with social media, it's always a highlight reel. With what you're doing is providing that backdrop, providing that exclusive behind the scenes peek into women that you see online. And very often, I think in society, a lot of other women fall victim to, oh, her life is so perfect. You know, everything must go so perfect for her, not recognizing that all of us, we share very similar challenges, right? We're more similar than you recognize, right? So what I love about what you're doing here is bringing that peek behind the curtain to bring a realistic view of what success is and a realistic view of what resilience is. It's not just about the laurels and the end product. It's about taking the viewer and the reader through the ups and downs, the hills and the valleys of the journey of success. And that is so important because, as I said, we're so accustomed to these highlight reels that people forget. I live a real life, right? I live a real life. I'm a real person with issues and challenges just like anybody else, and the other women as well. So you, as the viewer, you get to peek into that world and see how we were able to catalyze and alchemize those challenges to then reach the success and reach the goals that we've had and that we were set out for our lives. So I think that's unique. I think that's beautiful. And I think it's not done enough. And Kamisha, I want to take the moment to honor you for that and to honor your vision and to tell you thank you for creating this platform for women all over the world who have such beautiful and, you know, fragile and transparent and vulnerable stories, and be able to tell it in such a beautiful way from our words to the viewers' ears. So I can't stress it enough. Do not miss this edition or any edition of the I Am Bold and Fearless magazine, because Kamisha will make sure you are fulfilled and inspired for the rest of your journey.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Gabby. Thank you so much. Listen, ooh, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. And so, you know, that segues based on what you said, expect to be inspired.
Yeah.
And so that brings in my next question for you, because there are so many women out here who, you know, we're all born with a purpose, because God he birthed us with a purpose. He sent us here to complete an assignment. So we all have something to get done. But there are many women who they are in pursuit, but then they feel stuck of that, whatever it is that they may be in pursuit. What do you think is one of the reasons for many women feeling stuck in pursuit of purpose?
You know, the first thing that comes to me is who you've partnered with. That's the first thing. Who have you partnered with? That's the first thing that came into my spirit. Somebody that's watching this, I need you to ask yourself, who have you partnered with? One of the greatest oppositions that I find many women of success have done that have derailed their destiny is who they've partnered with, whether romantically, whether in business. Who have you allowed to speak into you and speak into your destiny? Who are the friends that are around you that you have allowed to speak into? Who are you telling your ideas to? There are a lot of monitoring spirits and people who do not have your best interest at heart. I'm speaking to somebody right now. There are a lot of people in your circle. Please audit your circle. Audit your circle. Many of you are stuck not because of a lack of talent, not because of a lack of intellect. You're stuck because you have surrounded yourself unknowingly many times with destiny snatchers and people who literally are preying on your downfall. They're laughing and talking to you in your face, but they're jealous of you and they're preying on your downfall. So what I want you to do is literally spend some time, if you're religious and you believe, spend some time in prayer, ask for greater wisdom and discernment. And even if you're not religious, this applies to anybody. Audit your circle. Pay attention to people. Pay attention to how they react when something good happens to you, right? Watch their expressions. Watch what they say. Watch the little things that come out as jokes, right? Watch the little movements that they make in your circle, because these people and this energy around you could be keeping you stuck. I'm sure there are many people who could tell you, this has happened to me as well. Somehow, serendipitously, you got rid of somebody or something, or you got out of a job that was holding you back or whatever, and the one thing that you were waiting off, bam, it happened super quick. You were in this holding pattern, this place of holding and just delay for so long. And the minute you got rid of the man, the minute you got rid of the jealous friend, the minute you got rid of the toxic job, all of a sudden, the opportunities that you were waiting for, boom, happened in your lap. Do you think that is by chance? Do you think that that is a coincidence? No, because your blessings come when you're ready to run with them. And if you have people around you that are keeping you stuck, that could be the first cause of your delay. And then secondly, I saw this saying on social media, and it was so funny. It says sometimes the weapon formed against you that is causing you not to prosper is you. Sometimes, my friend, it's you. Sometimes, my good sister who's watching this, it is you. That idea that the Lord told you to do, have you done it? Let's take a minute. Let's think about it. That thing that you knew you were supposed to start, have you started it? Have you saved the money to begin this? Have you started the research, the target market research for the product that you're supposed to launch? Have you done the work that you need to do? That's a real question that you have to really genuinely ask yourself, because ultimately, after auditing comes accountability, right? So if you have the bad people in your circle, the next step is to think about, okay, so why did I let them in? How were they able to get past my defenses so easily? So now you've got to go to the stage of accountability where you figure out, okay, I also was stuck. Yes, this was a bad person. Yes, it was a bad job, but I was also stuck because I didn't have enough discernment, right? To choose the correct friendship or choose the right relationship or choose the right boss, different things like that. And then also, am I a procrastinator? Let's get real, Kamisha. We have to be real with ourselves, right? Am I a procrastinator? Am I doing what I need to do? Remember we were talking about rest earlier. Am I pouring into myself and allowing myself to be rested and rejuvenated adequately that I can do the thing that I was called to do? Am I doing that? So it's a mixture of auditing and accountability. And when you do those two things, that is how you become unstuck. Because then you can recognize red flags that will delay and derail your destiny instantly. And then you have enough accountability to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
I love it. I love it. I hope you guys are already taking away these gems that are coming here tonight. I love it. I love it. And so as you were speaking, I was just there thinking, right? And I'm thinking, okay, we just talked about purpose. We talked about why persons may feel stuck. But what do you think? And I think, this question kind of answers itself, but I still want us to have a response to it. Because I'm thinking, what do you think is necessary for us who are pursuing purpose to be resilient? Why do you think that's necessary?
It's so necessary because the journey is never linear. It's never linear. I think we really actually downplay how non-linear the journey is and how many ups and downs and challenges you're going to have and how lonely and isolating leadership and innovation is. You are going to be by yourself many times. And I need to stress that. If you're a person that thrives on external validation all the time, you need people to constantly pat you on your back, constantly have to have 20 million friends around you. Yeah, cheerleading for you every step of the way. You need a huge circle. You always need. This is not for you. That's the truth. I just have to be very honest. It's not going to be for you because you have to really genuinely understand that there are going to be parts of this journey that's going to be very isolated and it's going to be on purpose. Because if you really look at a leader, and I mean in any context, let's take the safari, the Amazon, if you go to Tanzania, you go to safari, look at the leader of the pack, right? The lion, the lioness. When they're leading any tribe, any herd, the leader is always a little bit above, a little bit before, right? In leading the rest of the herd. They're always walking, a little bit ahead of the rest of the pack, which is the same thing for us as humans and women in leadership. You're always going to be ahead, which means there's always going to be a space between yourself and the people that you're leading. And it is meant to be that way, which means then that you have to be okay with isolation. If we use the example of Jesus, But every single time, let's look at every time he dealt with the crows. It always says after he performed a miracle and he led and he taught. What did he do? He left the crows and went by himself to spend time to recharge and rest and spend time in fellowship with the Father. Taking it outside of spirituality, let's go to real life. We presidents, kings, queens, you don't really see them out that much because they have to spend time in strategy, spend time with their cabinets, spend time with their councils and their cohorts, right? And spend time with themselves, recharging, strategizing, how to help the flock, how to lead. So if you want to be resilient, you have to be okay with that and understanding that that's part of the process. And that is where having that support system comes in, so that when you re-emerge, you have that healthy support system of frameworks around you. And then also that's where the healthy self-worth and pouring into self comes in, because then that will sustain you during those periods. And if you are a spiritual, you are a believer, that's what having God will do as well, to sustain you on your journey.
I love that last part, to sustain you, because you see, being sustained is really important. It's like, it's key, because I think sometimes one of these things that even though we know it, we hear it, but then when it's our turn, we don't like expect it to happen to us. We don't expect the challenges or the trials to come, because we think that, okay, we've mastered it or we're doing it differently than other people. But regardless of where you are in whatever career, whatever field, whatever purpose, whatever calling you have, you're going to have some form of resistance, because that's what builds muscle. And so you need the resistance, because the resistance is settled to actually help you, which is why we go to the gym, right? To build the muscles, get the, be a watch body and thing. That's why we're doing it. And that's the same thing in whatever area, whatever field you are called to. I know our time is almost coming to an end, but I have just a few more questions to ask. And my one of that question is, so the title of the magazine is I Am Bold and Fearless Woman Magazine. And so I have to ask you this question, Gabrielle. So what makes you bold and fearless?
The Lord. Like, literally, listen, the most bold, the Lord, I'm telling you. And if you read the Bible, like, as I said, the Bible literally says, the Lord, if the Lord is backing me, who can come against me? Who who could test me? Nobody. Like, I am fearless. You cannot touch me. You cannot touch me, because I am a child of the Lord. I have the audacity, because I'm a daughter of the Creator. That's the first thing. Like, that's my full identity. So that's the first thing that makes me bold and fearless, because when you know you have the Lord on your side, and trust me, I've been through it. People will try to sabotage you. People will they will do whatever they can, but it never works. You always land on your feet. It makes people perplexed, right? But it's because you have that wisdom and discernment, you're able to navigate life's challenges seamlessly. Even though, yes, it comes with a lot of challenges, a lot of struggle, frustration, fasting and praying, crying out to the Lord, all these different things. Because I have the Lord, I am bold and fearless. That's the first thing off rip. And then I would say, because of my mother as well, Mrs. Margaret Gay, she is incredible. She's a co-founder of the foundation. I come from a long line of women. The Erling Bradshaw Foundation is actually named after my grandmother as well, who was responsible for education, literally our entire district. She was the reason that, because she, of course, was coming out of the post-colonial era. She was the person that galvanized all the women and parents in the district and whatnot, and said, look, we're not sending our kids back to the fields. Let's put our money together. They're going to school, right? So because of her, she's the reason that literally generations of Black Barbadians are educated. And I've come from that long line and in her way, she was an innovator. And in my mother's own way, she's an innovator. And I've come from that long line. So it's being bold and fearless is literally, Kamisha, in my DNA, right? So from a DNA perspective, I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. It was coming from me, right? In those chromosomes, right? So there's that. And then, thirdly, because I am simply human, I am bold and fearless because of the women that are around me. I always say this all the time. When I did fast with you last year, changed my life. like changed my life completely. I talk about it all the time. Changed my life completely because I have a community of women like yourself. I saw Crystal Hall. Hi, girl. She had I saw her comment earlier. You know, I have just such incredible women around me and men as well. Great allies. I know, men. People like to demonize the men, but honestly, we do better. I believe in equity. We all do better when we come together, and men in their strength, in their healthy masculine strength, and women in our healthy femininity, coming together, we do amazing, right? To push the purpose forward. So I've had incredible men as well too, and allies as well on this journey that have, when I've been discouraged, recently in a commission, I wasn't in the best of health. You also was somebody that prayed for me. Crystal as well was somebody that came in, prayed for me. She was there for me, encouraged me. So having that family, having those amazing women and men by proxy as well in my circle, being a child of the Lord, and just being, focused on, finally, I'll say focus on helping others as well, keeps me bold and fearless. Because when I see my purpose through education, changing lives, uplifting women and youth around the entire world, making changing the entire trajectory of their families' inheritances and destinies through education, I become even more bold and fearless because I know I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right thing that's changing millions of lives through education. So that is what keeps me bold and fearless. And I hope that everything that we said this afternoon, even if just one person, but I know this will touch more than one, but if just one woman or one man that watched this episode, right, took any of the gems, then it means that we have done our job here tonight, Tanisha. So that's what keeps me bold and fearless. And I'm so honored to have been here.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. You see, if I could add to that too, in terms of what also keeps you bold and fearless, it's like I love your passion.
Thank
That was one of these things that really stood out when I first met you, and to this day it is still the same. So it tells me that's who you are. You're always passionate about everything you do, and that's how it has to be, especially when you're building. You're bold and fearless, and that's what makes you stand out. The level of passion, the level of passion that you have, and when you do it, if you're not going to do it excellence, then why bother at all? you
you.
know Why bother at all? Because it has to be done well. And so listen, I've been having a great time here with you talking about resilience and what that really means. We're definitely coming to a close now, but before we leave, one more thing about the magazine that I really want to mention and share with those persons who are tuning in here. We have 6 cover girls, and some of those girls, if you missed our first episodes and so on, you would have missed the episode with Crystal J. Paul, Dr. Francis and Bailey. We also have Sophia Cassie. We have Shanae Almond too as well, Mary Russell-Hankins as well. And then, of course, the lovely Gabrielle Gates. These are the 6 cover girls that we have for this edition. And then we have some other phenomenal women who are also in the magazine as well, also telling their stories. So as well, women from Barbados, we have women from St. Martin, we have women from Australia, we have women from the US, and we have women from Canada. We have them from all over. They're here and they're telling their stories as well. So when that magazine drops on March 8th, I want you to ensure that you get your hands on a copy. So it's going to be free digitally. And so you have no excuse. Everybody can afford it. Digitally, you can afford it. So you just click the link. You can click the link and you can preview it online. You can see all the stories, read all about them, and make your comments, of course. And then if you decide, okay, you know what, I want to get a physical copy, you can actually purchase a copy, a print copy, and we'll have the link and everything there. All the information will be out so that you know how you can access that. That information will come at the same time when we launch it. You can go ahead and purchase your print copy because these are some phenomenal women. Me myself having to go through those stories and listen and learn and just sit and watch them. I am blessed by their stories. I'm blessed by everything that they've gone through, they've overcome, and how they're out there just empowering other women. They're movers and shakers, and they're doing exactly what they've been called to. It's definitely been inspiring for me, and I pray that it will also inspire you as well. And so, Gabrielle, just before we go, are there any lasting words you would like to share with them?
Yeah, I would say definitely, firstly, remember, rest is resilience. You cannot take on any challenge if you don't pour into yourself. Be okay with being soft and restful with yourself because that's what's going to lead to the increased clarity and your best vibrance and passion in the purpose that God and that you have set out for yourself and your life. And I would say once again, be sure to audit your circle, right? The things that may be keeping you stuck and demotivated and not having that resilience to surge ahead against challenges could be your circle. So audit your circle. And lastly, accountability. Make sure that you are not the weapon that is formed against you, that is causing you not to prosper, okay? So be sure to audit yourself as well to make sure that you're doing the right habits to being your best resilient self. And of course, trust the Lord in all your heart and in all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths.
Amazing, amazing. Well said, Gabrielle. Thank you so much for sharing those gems with us tonight. We definitely enjoyed it. I want to thank all those persons who were able to tune in and who were here with us. We want to shout out to Adonna. We want to shout out Michelle. Michelle is also in a magazine too as well. And Michelle is also a leadership coach and she's an author. She's doing amazing things. She's a career strategist. This woman is dynamic, so I'm excited to have her as part of the magazine. Want to shout out to another powerful warrior on the line. I see Nikita's in the room. Welcome, Nikita. I see Darren. He's on the line. Crystal, you're here. Thank you for tuning in. And the mighty woman of God, Natalie, she's also here too as well. Thank you for always being here to support. And all those persons who would tune in after this, who would also tune in to watch it, I want to thank you for joining. And of course, I cannot leave here without shouting out the most amazing woman on the live right now who is actually tuning in, and that's my mother. And so welcome, mommy. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know you're watching. I see you there. And so thank you for being here, tuning in. And so like I said, the magazine is coming up March 8th, and that's going to be this Saturday, and that's coming up this Saturday. Stay alert to our pages. You can follow our pages. If you're not following us already, that's going to be at Queen's Mindset. That's Queen's Mindset on YouTube, Queen's Mindset on Facebook, and on Instagram. And if you want to just reach out to us and send us an email, that's going to be queensmindset.qm@gmail.com, or you can send it at info@queensmindset@gmail.com, or you can go to our website at www.queensmindset.net, and all the information will be right there for you. Because if you want to see the cover, it's going to be right there. And that cover, Gabrielle, that cover is amazing. I love the cover. If I do say so
I
myself.
love it. I'm gonna
love
it's too gorgeous. Like I
Yes.
have to get the printed one. Yes.
I love the cover. And just because some of you may be seeing this for the first time, I'm going to show them the cover for those persons who are tuning in here tonight just for the first time. Let me just go ahead and pull that cover up so they can see what we are talking about. I think it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Okay, hold on. We're going to put it up right now. So in a few seconds, you should probably see it coming up on your screen. You're just going to give it a few seconds so it comes up on the screen. Okay, where did it go? Hold on. And so we'll see it any second now. And that's the cover right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 6 dynamic women on the cover. I don't know if anybody has ever have recognized us yet, but when you look at this cover, it actually is a W. Has anybody recognized that? It's actually a W. I remember my sister saying, "Kimsha, everybody's not going to get it." I'm like, I pray they do. It's a W standing for women. These are phenomenal women. They're representing us, all of us globally as women from all across the world, share their stories. And I just love it how everybody just meshed together. And a really great story here, Gabrielle, is like, we didn't even ask you guys to wear black. You all just wear black.
Are you
I didn't ask you guys to wear black. I didn't ask you guys to wear black. You just wear black.
We did a theme and we really didn't even plan it. Wow.
We didn't do it, we didn't do a team this time, it just flowed. God just said who needed to be there. I just did what God said and everything came together. It's almost like we were in the studio. We just did it all together. That's how beautiful and phenomenal it is, right? And so I'm excited. I'm super excited. I just love it. And it even gets better when you guys actually get to see it. I saw a sneak peek today, but we were going through the draft with the team, and it's just phenomenal. I'm about to go and meet with them now to make sure everything's in place, but I'm excited. I'm super excited. I can't wait for you guys to see it so that you see what is there. And I hope that if you're interested and you want to be a part of our magazine for next edition, listen, don't wait. You can actually reach out to us at our email address. And like I said, our email address, that is queensmindset@gmail.com. That's the email. It's on the screen. You can send us an email. Let us know you're interested. Let us know you want to become a cover girl, or you may just want to share your story or article on the inside. You may want to do an ad, or you may want to be in a directory. Wherever you feel best is for you. Send us an email. Once everything is out, the information is out for 2026, but make sure that you're in the magazine too as well, so that your story is also shared globally. And so once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I know our time is well spent here. Thank you for being here tonight. It's been an honor and a privilege to share with you. And I look forward to hearing all about the comments that will come as we drop our magazine March 8th. Save the date, March 8th. 2025 on Women's International Day. I want to wish you an amazing night, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great night.